I am excited for the new year. I'm excited to have you as our guest. So we'll let people, we're letting people in now. We're getting close to about 20 and we'll see how many show up today. But yeah, I'm excited to have you here and leading, with the training today.
I love it. I'm excited too.
Andrea, I heard a recent podcast that you did, and it was just amazing. So you always bring value, and I'm super excited. Good to see you.
I love it. I'm curious what podcast it was. I've done a couple out there, so
Look at you.
I love it.
Do you remember, Tom, which one?
You know what? It was one of the ones that Randy was promoting.
Yeah. Gosh, that was a couple months ago, probably. That was so fun. He was like, "We're just gonna roll with it. How do you feel about that?" I'm like, "Bring it on."
I know, it was awesome. Well, cool. Well, hey, welcome everyone to Atomic Habits. I'm going to turn things over to Matthew Stewart. Let's go, Matt.
All right. Well, Happy New Year, everybody. We're hitting the ground running. Good to see Logan and Julie. Julie's day. Good to see you. Always a treat. Patrick. And let's see. Yep. We're going to live stream this. We're going to record this. Looks like Denise Dooley Bailey's on with us and Austin's iPhone. You know, the great thing about EXP is we have people from all over the nation, right? I mean, and internationally plugging in. I've been in this business for now 27 years. And in the old fashioned model of real estate, it was just kind of my local market. And that was it. I didn't really get to expand out to other realtors in other states and unless I went to some big event or whatever. But it's kind of a daily occurrence with our organization and EXP and all that stuff. So it kind of expands our mind and, we get to find out how different markets are and meeting here in this place every Wednesday, 9 to 9:30. I'll give it one more minute and then we'll rock and roll. We got Andrea as our guest. She's going to bring the fire. So I want to get as many people as we can on here. We'll just give it about 30 seconds more, but hope everybody had an amazing New Year's. Hope you had a little bit of time away to reflect on what worked in 2022 and what you're going to make some tweaks and changes in 2023 to expand and grow your business. Hopefully you're also plugged into our dialing for dollars Monday through Friday that we do. That's a really, really beneficial thing. And I will say that if you want to succeed in a declining market, you need to learn how to market properly and you need to learn how to prospect. And we have one of the best in the world with Tom Daves and our dialing for dollars. So I think that's just awesome. All right, 9:04, it clicked over. Here we go. All right, welcome everybody. Happy New Year. Go ahead and mute.
What's going on, man?
Hey, Ben, we can hear you, Ben.
Yeah, I'm kind of
how do we
pushing
mute
something
Ben?
through, but I got time, man.
Go ahead and mute Ben for me, please. There we go. All right, anybody else not muted? Jason, go ahead and mute yourself. And let's get rocking and rolling here for 2023. We have Andrea Beem, and we have her jumping out of the gate here. First meeting of the new year, 2023. She's an absolute rock star. She's got the Beam team up in Oregon. Your list is like a laundry list of accomplishments. I mean, Bold, you attended the Bold 5 times. You're also a coach. Let me look at some of these. Small Business of the Year, Triple Platinum Award winner, Top 100 Realtors in the Nation Award winner. I think you're also Success Coaching certified, right?
Not yet, getting there.
Okay, getting there. All right, on your way. And so we actually are going to have Andrea as part of our rotation on leading our Atomic Habits team meetings every Wednesday. So we're really excited about that. And so selfishly, I said, well, I want to have you be the guest before, since you're going to be leading these things. And she is going to be bringing the fire on some things. So I'm going to step aside. You got about 23 minutes or so. Hopefully you can squeeze it all in. I may interject here and there on a question or two just for clarification. But with that, I'm going to step aside. Andrea, we're blessed to have you as one of the leaders here.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate the really kind intro, and I'm so stoked to be just, part of the leadership group in here. It's such an honor, and I'm so excited. So I hope you guys have a pen and paper. If you don't, grab one right now. You are going to want it because I am going to, oh yeah, I saw Mike over there. He's like, yeah, I got it. I'm ready. I love it. That's right. Ready to roll. So you guys, I'm going to cram a lot of information in you really fast. I can be a fast speaker, and I did have a little bit of an energy drink here. So I'm not going to lie, I'm probably going to go pretty quick. Definitely type questions in the chat. And if I don't get to all of them, I'll make sure to get back to everybody with your answers. So what I want to talk to you guys about today is talking your sellers through a shifting market. When you head into a shifting market, there can be a really big gap between what sellers are perceiving is happening and what agents are experiencing on a daily basis, and also what the buyers are experiencing. You can have a massive gap in between all three of those and what their perceptions are. So your clients, your sellers might be hearing things, well, like, we might be heading into a recession, or we're in a recession, or, we might have a recession, but next year, right? So they're going to be hearing some of this stuff just on the news. They might be hearing things like, well, my neighbor down the street, he just sold his house 6 months ago for $50,000 over asking price. Keyword 6 months ago. They might also be hearing things like, well, my cousin's brother said that they still got 3 offers on their house last month, right? But they're in another state. So these are the things the sellers might be hearing right now. And if those are the things the sellers are hearing, what are the things that us as agents are hearing, right? What we're hearing, NAR says showings are down 28%. Redfin says 3 in 5 sellers are now doing a price reduction. We hear mortgage applications are down 48%, right? These are the things that we're hearing as agents. So just those two examples, can you see where there's a massive disconnect in perception? It's huge. So I'm going to give you guys some tools today. We're going to talk about structure, conversation structure. I'm going to give it to you in 3 different parts. So part 1, and this is where we go fast, guys. Part 1 is building rapport. Do not underestimate the value of building rapport in the beginning with your seller, especially if they are not a friend or family member. You want to make sure that by building rapport, you're doing things like using the Ford model, finding a really good connection. If you don't know what the Ford model is, somebody type it in the chat because we're going to go super fast here. I know somebody in here knows the Ford model, right? Use the Ford model, use the DISC profile, personality assessment. Figure out what way your client needs information presented to them. Do they need it presented in bullet points, right? Quick and to the point. They don't want any fluff. Or do they want to look at 25 different reports? Do they want to see it in a spreadsheet? And do they want to see it in a graph and a pie chart and everything else, right? What type of personalities do your clients have? And make sure you're presenting your material in the way they need to receive it. Even if you're not a super analytical person, if they are, any one of you can become analytical for 1 hour, right? For just 1 hour, present that material in the way they need to see it. And then number 3 under building rapport, you guys, this is important because we're gonna key in on this in a minute, is motivation. You have to know their motivation. Why are they moving to Colorado? Why are they moving to New York? Why are they moving to Florida? And don't just take the face value answer. Dig deeper. Why is that important to them? What happens if they don't get there in the time frame that they're envisioning? What happens if they get there earlier, right? Dig deep in their motivation. This is huge when you have to ask for a price reduction later on. So don't skip that part. Number 2, educate, do not debate. Educate, do not debate. You need to know your stats. You need to know, it's your job, right? This is what we do for a living. You should know the national stats, the state stats, the local town stats, the neighborhood stats of the client you're going to be meeting with. You need to know if the house down the street sold 2 weeks ago, because I guarantee you they do, right? So you need to make sure that you know your stuff when you're going into that meeting. But it is for educational purposes, not for debating with the seller. I want to be really clear about that. Know your daily hot sheets. How many terminated yesterday? How many new listings went live yesterday? Look at those things daily. Okay, that's your educate, do not debate. Number 3, dig deeper. I know I'm going fast here, you guys. Everybody still with me? All right, I'm seeing head nods. Okay, dig deeper. Acknowledgement. If they're giving you kickback, acknowledge it, right? Don't say I understand, just say I can appreciate why you feel like that. I can appreciate that you're nervous about this market. I can appreciate that your neighbor down the road sold their house 6 months ago. I can appreciate those things. Sometimes I may not always understand them because I'm not living in their shoes, but I can appreciate them and I can respect them, okay? Next, you're going to ask questions, and here's the brilliant 3-word script I love to use when you need to dig deeper. Tell me more. You need to move to Colorado? That's amazing. Tell me more about that. You're going there for your grandkids? That's great. Tell me more about why that's important. Oh, you're going to be watching them for your kids so they can go to work and not have to pay for daycare? Amazing. Tell me more about what that's going to look like. What are you going to do with them on those 3 days a week you're watching them? Tell me more. Okay. Number 4, share your experience. Get a raise of hands. How many people were in the industry back in 2008, 9, and 10? Anybody? Oh my gosh, I've got several of you. Yeah, okay. So here's the thing. If you were in the industry back then, use your experiences. Let them know, this is what I experienced in 2008, 9, and 10. My experience was most people had regrets when they didn't take the first offer that was given to them, and they didn't do the price reduction when they needed to, and they hung on too long and it cost them thousands. And sometimes in cases, it lost them a lot more than that, right? That was my experience. You can share that with your clients. Now, if you haven't been in the market since then and you're new, right? Let's get a show of hands. How many of you guys are new in the last 2 years? We got a couple of you? Yes. Okay. Use others' experiences, use Dave's experiences, use my experiences, use Matthew's experiences, Randy's experiences. You guys, we've all been in that market. So make sure you use others' experiences or maybe mentors that you have. So to a quick recap, build rapport, educate, do not debate, dig deeper, share your experience. That is your conversation structure, part 1. Here is part 2. Okay. I hope your hand's not cramping up.
Andrea, real quick, just to,
Yeah.
on the aspect of, I know I can relate or understand what you're saying, where you said that, right? Even though you may not. The feel, felt, found method is usually pretty good in that. And even if you don't have your own stories, right? You share a story from Randy Bird or Tom or me or what have you, and you go, I understand how you can feel that way. And this is let's see, feel, felt, and then this is what we found, right? And you share that story. That's a good segue into the story of, we've had other sellers, do such and such and so on. So feel, felt, found is a good talking point on that.
Absolutely. I'm really glad that you inputted that in there, because I may have to add that to my classes when I teach this in the future, because
there you go. Yeah.
It is an easy, when you have a structure or a format of how and what you're going to say to your clients, it makes those conversations a lot smoother, you guys, a lot smoother. And especially when they're acronyms like that, or, there's something that's sticky, like feel, felt, found, then it helps you to remember them when you're in the thick of the moment, right? You might be getting a little nervous, a little sweaty. It's like only your 3rd listing or your 3rd price reduction you've ever had to ask for. It can be a little easier to remember those. It makes it go much smoother. So absolutely. Okay, next one. Let's talk a little bit about framing. There are 4 different types of framing when you're in a conversation. There's pre-framing, and pre-framing is what I love to call killing the monster while it's tiny. Killing the monster while it's tiny is, maybe you have a lot of sellers lately that have the same objection. And so you can kind of anticipate, you almost become a mind reader, right? You're just a mind reader. This objection is probably going to come up. So what do? You kill it while it's tiny, and you bring it up before the seller brings it up. It sounds something like this. Mr. and Mrs. Seller, you might be concerned about what the market looks like right now. Or Mr. and Mrs. Seller, you might be wondering if you should sell now or in the spring, right? So you kill the monster while it's tiny. And when you say those things, then you can let them know, I'm going to make sure to cover that with you today. I brought some information I think you're going to want to see, and we're going to cover that concern. So you bring it up before they ever do, and you kill the monster while it's small. That is pre-framing. Reframing is the next one. And reframing is literally just taking a negative to a positive. You're switching their perspective on something. So in the real estate world, what that might look like is a client saying, oh my gosh, this market sucks. And you go, are you kidding me? Like, there are so many opportunities in this market. It's fantastic. Okay, that is reframing. You're showing them the other side to the coin that maybe they didn't know or didn't see or weren't aware of. You just reframe it. Okay. The next one is as if framing. As if framing, I love this one. It's where you get to be an artist. It's where you get to have a little fun with this. It's where you get to paint a picture. And this is where that motivation, remember we talked about motivation. It's where motivation becomes really important. If you didn't ask for the motivation, you can't paint this picture. You need to be able to paint the picture for them when you're asking a price reduction of what is it going to look like? This could be negative or positive. What's it going to look like if we don't get you there in the next 30 days? If we don't do this price reduction and you don't get there to watch your kids, what is the result of that? Well, now they've got to go find daycare. Now they've got to pay money they don't have. Okay, so it's creating a hardship, right? So you can also do this in a positive way. You know, as soon as we get this price reduction done, we're going to be able to get your house sold and we're going to be able to get you to Colorado to your grandkids as quickly as possible. So this is where that motivation comes in, really important. If you didn't do it, you better be doing it now, right? You've got to know why. And the last one, I hesitate to use this one. You should have a good rapport with your clients if you use this one. It's called deframing. And deframing is also known as a takeaway. And so a takeaway might sound something like this. Well, you know, Mr. and Mrs. Seller, I have proven marketing that has worked for so many of my clients, and it may not work as well for you. It's a takeaway situation. It's not my favorite one to use. And it's kind of my Hail Mary. We use it as a Hail Mary, but it is the fourth option, which is deframing. Okay. So I want to leave you guys with some scripts. I want to make sure to leave just a few minutes for some questions at the end here, but I really want to give you some scripts and leave you with some what's next. So when we talk about seller's perception, if you're going in and you're asking for a price reduction, which can be a little uncomfortable, right? Like it can feel a little squirmy. You don't love going in and asking for a price reduction, but why? Because there are thoughts in the seller's heads that are not always the most comfortable thoughts, right? Things like, well, you must not be doing your job. Or what have you been doing to sell my house? Or we just need to wait for the right buyer to come along, right? We just need to market it more. Those are common thoughts that are going through a seller's head when they hear you start talking about a price reduction. So here's where that mind reader thing comes in. If you know that those are the thoughts in their head, you can address those thoughts, right? You already know what they're potentially thinking. So if you're going to address those thoughts, then you should be doing things here. Let me find my, actually, I've got a whole list. I'm going to give you a whole list here. I can find it. Here. How are we going to show them it's the right thing? How are we going to show them? Well, number one, you're going to walk in and you're going to be able to review their motivation in selling a home. Okay. This is the third time I've brought up motivation. It's important. Next, you're going to review the activity with them. Show them how many people have favorited it on Zillow. Show them how many agents have looked at it in your MLS. Show me how many consumers have looked at it in your MLS. Show them the postcards that you've sent out for them. Show them the results of the open house you did for them. Show them your ad that you ran on social media. Show them. They don't always know what you're doing if you're not showing them. You're going to review a CMA with them. If your listing is older than 30 to 60 days, redo your CMA and review it with them. The market is changing in such a swift manner. You need to be updating those CMAs and review them with your client. Next, you're going to review your marketing plan of action with them. When they do their price reduction, what are you going to do? Tell them what you're going to do. Have a list ready for them. And then share market stats with them. Every month, market stats come out in every market across the nation. Share them. Highlight 1 or 2 or 3 of those statistics that are really important that they know, and show them those statistics. So they're going to agree. They're going to say, all right, we're going to do this price reduction. And they're going to feel like they're giving you everything and you are not giving anything. Darn. Okay, how do we fight that? Here's how you fight it. Number 1, Mr. and Mrs. Seller, I'm going to tell you what we're going to do right now. I'm going to go back once we agree on this price that we're reducing to. I'm going to tell my entire team. I'm going to put out the word to my entire brokerage. We are going to send out a hot sheet to thousands of agents in our multiple listing service. We will schedule an open house immediately if you're okay with that. We are going to send out postcards to 100 of your neighbors to make sure they know about the improved price. We are going to door knock around your neighborhood, right? You can have a list. This is not an all-inclusive list I'm giving you. We're going to make sure that your listing is back up at the top of the search engines. You guys, a lot of this stuff happens automatically. Some of it doesn't. If you're door knocking, that requires you to physically go out and take that action. Some of it happens automatically. They don't know that. They don't know that, but they do need to know, what are you going to do now that they just feel like they ripped off the Band-Aid hardcore and did this huge price reduction? And now what are you going to do about it? They need to feel like they're not on the losing end. Give them the confidence that you're going to go out and get that house sold for them because of that price reduction that they just did. Here is what you're doing. So here's a couple scripts for you guys to take away. These are really short ones. They should be super easy. Number 1, you're going to future pace with them. And future pacing says, if we are getting the activity that we need, and the feedback is that there are better deals out there, then we will know where we need to make an adjustment to get your home sold. So remember when I said we know our marketing works, it's a proven method of marketing. The only thing that we are testing is the price. The only thing we are testing is the price. So if we're getting the activity we need, then we know where the adjustment needs to get made. You always want to take it back to price. When you guys are getting showings and you get feedback from those agents and you need to go let your seller know what those agents are telling you, you always want to start it with these 3 words: for the price. For the price, they felt the yard was too small. For the price, they felt like there was better value in this other neighborhood in a different listing. For the price, they felt like some repairs needed to be made. For the price. Everything should start with those 3 little words. For the price. Acknowledgement. I respect where you are coming from. And can I share with you why that scares me? I respect where you are coming from. And can I show you a couple statistics that might make you feel a little bit differently? Always use and, don't use but. Nobody likes to have the I love you, but, right? I understand, but no, use the word and, okay? All right, I don't make the market, I just interpret it. I don't make it. My job is to share with you what the market is doing. This is what you hired me to do. Set parameters. That's though we know our marketing works. The only thing we are testing is the price. So I know I went through those really fast. Hopefully somebody was maybe putting some of those in the chat. It's normally like a 45-minute class and we just did that in 20 minutes.
Love it. You blew through it. It's so great though, like on point. And there were so many nuggets that you put in here, and thank goodness that we record these and put it so you can go back and refer to it. It would be a very good use of 20 minutes, 22 minutes to go back and just really plug into these. Probably watch it 3, 4, 5 times to get it ingrained, because there's so many little nuggets that you put in there, Andrea, that man, huge, right? Easy to just kind of miss unless you hear it a couple times. You're like, oh, that was a nugget right there. That it's what I found in my experience is it's so much about seed planting, and maybe that's the pre-framing you were talking about. planting those seeds with your language so that you can go back later and cultivate, right? And with the declining market and price reductions, it's so important to plant so many of those seeds early and often so that you can go back and pull them up again and let them know. So did such a great job. Does anybody have any questions that came up as you're out going on listing appointments and running into some of these objections or concerns and fear in the marketplace? Anything you want to bring up to Andrea?
I love it. It's great stuff. Just quick question. How would you create differentiation in the marketplace? Let's say they're talking to a lot of agents. How do you, and then the objective, I want to talk to different people. What would you say to say how you're going to help sell their home above other agents?
Yeah. So I think part of it, well, there's a lot of ways I can answer that. Part of it is that you need to come in confidently in what you're doing. They've got to feel the confidence that you have, right? Number two, I'm going to guess right now, a lot of people are cutting commissions, which could be a whole other class by itself.
Right.
And, we did this in a class yesterday where with the commission part of it, because that's going to be a huge part of it. If they're interviewing other agents, I guarantee you that's a factor to them, is that they want to save money. But the reality is do they want to save money or do they want to make money? Because there's a difference. And I would be asking them that question. You're going to win those battles by asking questions, not by debating them or not by trying to convince them that you're a better agent. I would ask them questions that help them to realize that you're the best agent for them. So when you're talking about interviewing with other agents, it sounds to me, Mr. and Mrs. Seller, like you need to net the most amount of money possible. Is that what I'm hearing? Well, yeah, we need to net the most so that we can have a down payment on our other house. Okay, fantastic. So let me know if that other agent has agreed to reduce their commission for you, then what are they going to do with your money? Because they just reduced their commission like that, which means they're not caring for their money much. So what are they going to do when they're negotiating on your behalf? How fast do you think they're going to give up your money? I think you would appreciate a bulldog like me that's going to get your home sold and is going to be honest with you. Okay. So, and I could go into a whole nother class on this. I'm just trying to give you one or two nuggets.
That's perfect. Thank you.
Yeah. And I would just add one little thing on that is you really need to know your value, right? Like I put in the chat, you should take a moment and just brainstorm everything you do on getting homes sold, like even to the finite little detail. She mentioned postcards. They said, now she mentioned open houses, all these things. You should have it all listed out so that when you go in front of a seller, you literally blow them away on all the things that you do. That's how you set yourself apart from the other realtors, right? Your value proposition. And whenever there is an absence of value, there is a questioning of price. So they will work you on commission and all that if they feel like you are not bringing the value. So it's our job, it's on us to take responsibility and go, okay, what is it that I do as a listing agent that sets me apart from everybody else? And really focus this year to implement new things and ask the top hitters, in our team and so on, what do you do? What do you do different? And we'll share. That's the beauty of EXP, right? We're here to bless and share. Any other questions? That was a great one. Thanks, Eric.
Yeah.
Anyone else got any questions or a scenario that they'd love to have an answer on, or some wisdom shared by Andrea? See if I missed the chat here. Okay. All right. Well, if going once, going twice, anybody last minute, don't be bashful. All right. Yes. So we got Dial for Dollars. You're going to log in. It starts at 9:45. It's Monday through Friday. We do a 15-minute debrief, basically role playing and debriefing and so on. You can call for agent attraction. You can call for sale by owners, expireds, call your sphere of influence. We don't care. It's not specific to who or what you're calling. It's basically learn the skills, overcome the fears, pick up that 800-pound gorilla, that phone, make the calls, And I'll tell you, if you want to make it, if you want to survive in this shifting market, you have to list. You have to list to last. And in order to list, you have to market and you have to prospect. So anyway, Andrea, thank you so much. You always bring the fire. I'm telling you, there's so much value in there that it was so much that I'm sure a lot of it was missed, right? So that's why I encourage everybody to go back, listen to it again, because this is a woman that has just been an absolute beast in regards to real estate sales and training and, you know, leading teams and so on. So we're blessed to have you. Thank you so much.
Thank
I love
you.
it. Thanks for having me, guys.
So great. Appreciate it.
Tom,
Thank you.
anything you want to close out, Tom?
Yeah. Okay. So, okay, everyone, 15 minutes from now, we're starting our Dial for Dollars. That's every day, Monday through Friday. That's from 9:45 until 12 o'clock Pacific. If you don't know what we do, for the first 15 minutes, we do a little bit of role play. And then for 2 hours, we, call our database, call our sphere, we call for sale by owners, we call agents, whatever. And it's some great momentum. And then at the end, we talk about some wins. And then this Friday, we have Freedom Friday, 9 a.m. Pacific. And we have Jackie McKelvin, and she's going to share talking about taking those goals, making them simple for the year, and crushing it with an action plan. So thanks, everyone. Appreciate it. Thanks, Andrea. Thanks, Matthew.
All right, you guys have a great rest of your day.
See you
Thank
soon.
you.